Yo, what's up, everybody? This is your brother Shakim. Man, I'm live, man. Live. Man, so today's been a beautiful day, man. Wonderful day. We had a good day at the food bank here at the Community Resource Center, North Charleston. That went well. But I'm going to get right to the point because I'm kind of tired, right? So, man, I want to talk about these black Republicans who spew the rhetoric of the alt right. The alt right are racist Republicans and so called conservatives that hold these totally biased and racist views of black people. And the thing about it, right, is what they have strategically done is they put people like Jesse Lee Peterson, they put not Jesse Lee Peterson, you got Anthony Brian Logan, you got Patrick Hamilton, you got Larry Elder, you got, of course, Candace Owens, but you get these blacks who they utter foolishness, like, you know, instead of having intellectual discussions about race relations and what's going on and how to resolve issues in the community, the first thing they do is, what about black on black crime? And the Republicans have set them up. Okay, Shock is joining in. The Republicans have, set them up to be, okay, this guy said Candace Owens is not alt right. So, hey, Shaka, man, I'm talking about blackface alt right. Blackface alt right. What do you?
Just
What do
for the
you?
record,
Okay, go
just
ahead.
for the record, me and you haven't even talked about this. I already know what it is.
Yeah,
That's sad though. That's
sad, bro.
sad.
Sad. Okay, so somebody is saying that all these people. Larry Elder is not alt right. Let me tell you why Larry Elder is alt right. If you go on Larry Elder's page, right? I'm a conservative. Shockers, we conservative, but we're not alt right. If you go on Larry Elder's page right now, all you see is him quoting the same statistics over and over and over and over and over. All they do is spew talking points. So what happens is these talking points, they make racists feel comfortable with being able to spew their ugly rhetoric against black people. So when you go on Larry Elder's page, he talks about black fatherlessness, right? That's all he talk about. He'll talk about, black on why can't black on black crime. He talks about all of these talking points. But if you notice, I will pay $200-300 right now if you can find a positive statistic about black people on Larry Elder's page.
Shit, you
I
can
will
go
give.
Larry. You can go Larry Elder. You can go Candace. You can go Brandon Tatum. You can go down the line. You won't find it. You will not find it.
Right. Listen,
That's
y'all
not.
don't think. Go ahead. Go ahead,
That's
Shaka.
by that's by design, bro. I don't care what
Right.
nobody say. They all, if you, I promise anybody up in here, if you go, we can name you names of these people, and if you go to their post and just look from a month to today, they have the same talking. You can go back further. I'm just saying a month, 30 days from today. Go back and look at each one of their posts, and each one of their posts is similar.
Yep.
It's talking points.
Yep. And I'm going to tell you this. I called out Anthony Brian Logan, right? ABL. ABL, this is for you, ABL. Listen, ABL, this is for you. ABL is totally alt right. Totally, bro. If you went on Anthony Brian Logan's page or Patrick, whatever, Patrick Hampton, if you go on their page, you would think you was looking at a Ku Klux Klan members page, bro. You would
That's
think these dudes are Klansmen, straight Klansmen, bro. Like I'm gonna tell you like this: what they do is they do these podcasts. They put on the MAGA hat and they talk about black on black crime and they talk about how black culture is degenerative. They talk about, you know, how the music is misogynistic, and we're not saying that it's not, but that's not black culture in totality. That doesn't represent who we are. That's only taking a small piece of what black people like, and you're blowing it up out of proportion and making it seem as though that's the black agenda.
Right.
And what? Yeah.
And
So
it's
go ahead.
racist. It's racist by itself. Of if you only view the black community of rap music and and shooting up each other, then that's a racist statement by its damn. I don't care if you are black. That's a racist statement by its damn self. Is rap music and shoot up motherfuckers. That's the only thing that we have to offer. Like, let's be for real. Like, it's all types of intelligent people that's Democrat. For us to sit back and act like it's no intelligent black people that's Democrat, that's saying all black people are dumb. Like, is that where we at? Because the majority of my family Democrat. I might not agree with their political stance, but I know they're not dumb. I know they're intellectual. So it's fucked up.
Right. I'm gonna tell you like this. You know, you can't go on any one of their pages and hear them talking about how we can support black-owned businesses. You never hear that. Why is it that you can't go on Candace Owens' page, Brandon Tatum page, Jesse Lee Peterson page, Larry Elder's page? None of them. You can't go on any of their Facebook pages and find anything that encourages economic growth in black communities. That you will never find a directive to support a particular black-owned business and support. You got all of these problems, but you never hear the solution. They won't talk about a solution. And the reason why is because when you start talking solution, we got a visitor. When you start talking solution, next thing you know, it doesn't suit the agenda of the alt-right.
Why Anna look like she on one of them cop videos where they hide the face and then they distort the voice? Anna, you on the run?
You guys, stop it.
Stop what, Anna? Stop what? Okay. What you got to say, Anna? You done jumped in the smoke. Now you can't back. You jumped in the fire. What's up?
What were you guys talking about before I got here?
Oh, woo! We talking about blackface alt-right, and you and this clicking on your phone. Y'all should keep that clicking on that phone.
I'm gonna go out and come back in.
All right. So Anna, I know what Anna phone always be clicking. But so this is the thing. At a certain point in time, and I know people always like to say, well, you know, why do y'all put so much energy in them? Why do y'all invest, you know, a lot of your time in them? But this is something that has to be talked about. This has to be discussed. If you saw Sonny talking to President Trump today, this is the type of hardcore facts and language that we need. This is the type of discussion that we need. We don't have time to sit back and allow blackface alt-right to take charge of the narrative. We got to challenge blackface alt-right. We have to, because they don't have an understanding of how the community operates. And even if they did have it, they're hiding it and not showing it because they want to peddle their views on social media and on YouTube. So we have to put together a formidable force that is going to counteract all of the blackface alt-right agenda. We have to, because if we allow the blackface alt-right to continue spewing rhetoric that is damaging our communities, that hurts us. That hurts us.
That hurts totally. Us. Like I said, and then they all say, "Oh, they're not oppressed. I'm black and not oppressed." They oppress. Oh, that's why they can't talk about what me and you talk about. They can't speak life. They can't speak life into the black community. They can only pretend, and they'll mention Planned Parenthood, but it's not genuine. It's not a genuine stance between Planned Parenthood and actually caring about black lives. Like, the alt-right been talking about Chicago for how long? About 4 straight years. Ain't nobody said, "Hey, let's go up in there." We got enough. They got enough money to go. They got the resources. They got the money. to go into Chicago and say, okay, we're gonna fix this part or try to fix this part or give them a connection where they can, better up or uplift them. They don't have they just on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, and they're no different than CNN. So you got the alt-right CNN. As far as my followers, I try to make them say, I try to get them off that alt-right shit, because it's like, I'm not going to do it. If you want somebody to sound like them, tap dance like them, you're not going to get that over here. I know you're not doing it. I know Sonny today, that's the first time I've seen a black conservative or white conservative speak to Trump and have solution, and it was straightforward and didn't cower down, didn't get up in there. Oh yeah, like and some men gonna take it wrong. I don't really give a shit. Sonny took over. Sonny was the alpha today.
Yeah.
The alpha.
Yeah. She definitely was. Definitely was. And you made a good point, and I really never thought about it, right? Until you just said it. So they walk around and screaming, well, I'm not oppressed, I'm not oppressed. But fact shows that that's a lie, because they can never talk about economic solutions in the black community. As soon as they started talking about solutions in the black community, as far as investing in each other, as far as circulating black dollars, encouraging white people and Hispanic people and Asian people to support black-owned businesses, see, they couldn't do that. They can't. So they're oppressed to their own alt-right narrative. They can't talk like that. And as soon as they talk like that, the alt-right is going to throw them away, and they're going to write them off as being racist. Oh no, that's racist. Why are you talking about supporting black-owned businesses? That's racist. So they got to be careful about how they speak on certain issues, because if they say something that's wrong, then they're going to lose their fan base. That's why I'm calling Anthony Brian Logan out, brother. Brother, you got to be called to the carpet. ABL, we calling you to the carpet. Jay, we all saw that that thing with Killer Mike and T.I. and all of that. We saw that a while back. Yeah, we saw that when it first happened. So we're calling brothers like Anthony Brian Logan to the carpet. If you notice, Anthony Brian Logan, the only thing he can talk about is what Candace Owens just talked about. That's it. That's all he can do. That's it. So he's a parrot. So what he'll do is he'll watch Candace Owens post. He watch what Candace Owens posts. He's going to go on YouTube. He's going to put up his link for donations. He's going to go and talk to the alt-right, and he's going to talk about how, black men, all these black men getting killed by the police are resisting arrest, and they all got criminal records. He's going to parrot everything that Candace Owens said, and he's going to ask for donations to continue his alt-right rhetoric. And see, that's the big scam that they got going on. The big scam is that the alt-right will pay. The alt-right will pay. They're so desperate that they will pay blackface alt-right to spew that negative garbage so that they can have it. They'll pay you $20. They'll shoot $20 in your GoFundMe. They'll shoot $100. They'll give you a speaking engagement. That's how
just so they can say, and a lot of people, just to put emphasis on what you're talking about. If you don't know what he's talking about, the alt-right, or I don't consider conservative. I don't think nobody's conservative that follows them. I just don't. You can take it like you want. I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Mexican, Hispanic, whatever. You can't be conservative and actually believe what they're talking about is like that's conservative values. They don't even conserve their own black community. So how can you find value in what they're saying unless you're only using their posts, their negativity posts, to project how you really feel about us? And that's what it's coming down to. I'm drawing the line. Like, it's like, what do they offer? Nobody can answer this. No white person can. What do Candace Owens offer? What do Brandon Tatum offer? If you want to throw the Logan motherfucker, what do he offer the black community or any community of substance.
Mm. 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 Mm.
I'll wait.
Ooh.
I'll wait. And I've been waiting. Nobody, oh, you guys need to just worry about when you leave things. I left them alone for a while. And
Yeah.
then they start picking. Bryson out of somewhere he just started picking with me. Bryson started picking with me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not even on Twitter, bro. Like, how you want to debate me and I'm not even on Twitter? And then when I turn up on their ass, I'm the bad guy. They play victim, they play, all this other stuff. But they're scared of people that's pro-black and happy to be black and that can be a conservative and be themselves. So a lot of people are acting like you said. You don't believe that all of them actually feel that way. And I said they don't. I said, but some of them hate the black community so much that they do believe what they say. After a while, you believe what you say. You keep repeating it, you keep repeating it, you keep repeating it, and you start to believe that shit. So I'm waiting for what they bring to, the black community and the white community.
Right. Word. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Sharice, she was up in them pictures like Scarface earlier today. I said, go on, Florida girl.
Where did Anna go?
Man, who knows? She said her phone connection is. Huh?
What are we talking about?
Ooh, there's some smoke here. Shaka, you think they're ready for this right here?
Nah, I honestly I don't think Sharice is. That's our. We protect Sharice. That's our little. I don't. They gon' when me and Shakim start talking, they go after y'all. They don't go after.
Yeah.
They don't go after us. They go after, and that's another thing that's weak. So people that's watching this, and Sharice ain't said nothing. You can go on Twitter and watch. Like, she get attacked when they don't have the group thinking they say, oh, black people are not monolithic. But they all got the same. All the black.
Obviously, they want to be monolithic.
Exactly.
I got canceled. So.
Okay. Mike, my homeboy Mike, he said define alt-right and define conservative. Okay. So, and that's a good question, right? Because a lot of people don't understand the difference between the two. So
I can define conservative. It's not really a political party. It's, God and family. That's basically what conservatism is. I don't know why people try to group conservatism with a certain party, because it's not a party. It's your values.
Right. So when you really, and I'm glad you said that, because when you really start understanding what a conservative is, one, you got to look at the Constitution. And I know a lot of people always say, well, the Constitution wasn't meant for us and this and that. But you say that, but then whenever you get to a traffic stop or you want to protect yourself, the first thing you run to is the Constitution. Right. So, so some of us black people, we got to kind of really, understand that particular point. I understand when you talk about the original forefathers and we were slaves. I totally get that. But as of right now, you have constitutional rights. Don't never fool yourself into thinking that we don't. We have it. We can assert it. And I think when you start looking at the Constitution and how it should apply logically, the true application of the Constitution defines being a conservative. Like I said, the Second Amendment, Sharice said family. Second Amendment, it applies to family. That's how you protect your family. That's how you protect your business. That's how you protect your livelihood, your person. That's how you protect yourself. When you start looking at the Eighth Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment, you have the constitutional right to be protected from cruel and unusual punishment. You got due process. Due process. You should be able to, if anything happens to you, you have the right to go through the system to be tried.
It doesn't matter if you got fentanyl in your bloodstream or meth in your bloodstream or you robbed a lady 7 years ago. That shit ain't got shit to do with none of that.
Exactly.
Like you said, you get due process.
Due process. Exactly. So the brother said, do conservatives support Trump? Not all of them. You just had Colin Powell, who's been a lifelong conservative. He said he's not voting for Trump.
Yeah.
He said he's going with Biden. You had you had Condoleezza Rice. She basically said, "I don't support Trump." You got Bush. Bush said he don't support Trump. He's a conservative. You had man, who else? Somebody else.
A lot of black families don't support Trump, and a lot of black families are conservative. They just don't. They just don't know that they're conservative because they believe it's a political party.
Here's the thing, like people. The moment you disagree with Trump, they try to say you're a liberal or you're not conservative. And I made a tweet saying, just because you're pro-Trump doesn't mean you're conservative. Like,
no, well,
you can be conservative without supporting Trump, but it's like people, the moment you disagree with him or you say, I'm not voting Trump, oh, you're a liberal, you're a lefty. Like, no.
Yeah, it's the same. Basically, they tease the snowflakes, which is the Democrats, but a lot of people don't realize that the same snowflakes walked away and became so-called conservatives or Republicans. So they bring that same attitude that the left have. They bring it over to the right, and they blend it with conservative. I'm a conservative, and really they still Democrats. So they still walk like a Democrat, still talk like a Democrat, still try to cancel you like a Democrat. And that's what you're seeing. So it's a lot of people that they walked away, but they didn't change their democratic traits. Let's say that.
People are only conservative economically and not like socially. Like, so they're kind of still a liberal or a lefty. I've been conservative. I was raised in a Christian home with conservative values. I started identifying as conservative in middle school. People say, "Oh, you're so young. You are so young." So that don't mean anything. I started identifying as conservative in the 7th grade because I know the values that I was raised with, and I didn't just because I support Trump, oh, I'm automatically a conservative. No.
Right. This is Jeff. Jeff say many in the MAGA movement are not conservatives. They are populists whose ideology revolves around Trump. Others are status, pretending to be conservative. Status, yes. You're right.
Yep.
So they can yes.
Where the hell is Jeff? Jeff, tell Jeff Jeff probably somewhere right now. Where Jeff at?
Jeff, they say you got to come on the stream, Jeff.
Bring Jeff. Jeff. My people need to see Jeff. Like, my people don't know Jeff. I know Jeff.
Yeah, man. Come on, we about to get Jeff in here, man. Jeff,
bring Jeff. I fuck with Jeff. He got a lot of weirdos. Man. Jeff bring out the weirdos though. I'm gonna be honest. There's some weirdos that follow Jeff, and Jeff is like, but you know he's solid with his information, so I fuck with Jeff. But yeah, he got a lot of weirdos. He bring the weirdos out. I think I'm gonna call him the weirdo whisperer. Like, he bring them all out.
Ooh, bring them out. All right, Jeff. I sent you a link, Jeff. I sent you the link, Jeff. So I'll see when you come in. I sent Jeff the link.
Okay.
Go ahead. You about to say something?
I was saying a lot of these people are Trumplicans. They're not conservative. They're not even Republicans. A lot of them are fake conservatives. And I didn't just become conservative overnight. I was raised with these values. People are trying to capitalize off of Trump's name and say that they're conservative when they're really not.
Right. Yeah. And you know, so somebody said define alt-right. Basically, the alt-right are the extreme, like, what about black on black crime? They don't, anything that deals with a discussion about race, ethnicity, anything outside of their agenda, they don't want to hear it. They tell you that, like, when me and you come in and drop, you know, positive shit about the black community, they'll tell you, oh, you guys talking about, all you talk about is black and white, all you talk about is race. But then when you get, you know, Candace and them talking about, you know, how bad the black community is, they allow that. They don't tell them to shut up, but they tell us to shut up for speaking positivity within our community.
I'm kind of confused because they're always saying, "Oh, you're making everything about race." Every time I want to talk about a black issue or I say I'm pro-black or something, they're like, "Oh, you're always making everything about race." But the moment a issue happens with another race murdering somebody black or police murdering somebody black, what about black on black crime? Oh, you got criminals. The community full of criminals. Oh, they just want handouts. They just want this. Then they just want that. Oh, you realize that you're going off what the media is showing you how black people are, because not every black person is on welfare. Not every black person is committing crimes. Not every black person is in the hood. Not every black person is fatherless. Not every black father is absent. So
It's just they want to talk about race when it's convenient. That's
bingo
for them.
Bingo. It's like they say, I don't see color. Then in the next 5 minutes, they say, what about black on black crime?
Nobody does color. That's is lying.
Yeah, or they say things, and this eats me up all the time. They'll be like, systemic racism doesn't exist. And then they'll turn around and tell you how, Planned Parenthood is a system that was built to, abort black babies, and it was instituted by, the Democrats, and they wanted to, it affects black women negatively more than anybody. And then they'll say, well, systemic racism doesn't exist, but Biden put together a crime bill in '94 that locked away so many black men. And then you say, well, what about Reagan's war on drugs?
What about Nixon? What about Nixon's war on drugs? What about Eisenhower's war on drugs? What about Bush war on drugs? So I already like I said, they send me Bryson because Bryson's gonna be an idiot and not have a real serious talk. They won't send me nobody else that's gonna be serious, because it'll get exposed. Bryson, he's good at being an ass. I give him that. And he's good at dancing around questions. That's the only person they send at me, because they know it's not going to be a direct dialogue. It's going to be some bull. Send me the Logan dude. The Logan dude, you nicer than me, Shakim. You nicer than me. You more peaceful than I would cut that dude up like fruit at a damn grocery store. Like it's not going. He know that. He knows that. But I think
that's why he running, Shaka. That's why he running, man. Anthony Brian Logan, bro. If you watching this, we calling you out, bro. We calling you out.
I do not want any part in this.
You ain't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sharice has nothing to do with this, y'all. Nothing. Yeah.
They're saying, because I don't want no smoke with anybody.
Yeah,
I want smoke. I want the smoke. Me and Shaka want the smoke.
You see, they want all the smoke with me, but I be minding my business.
No, me and Shaka want the smoke.
Yeah, we don't want the smoke. I'm going your way.
I'm just saying, I be minding my business, and people want.
You gonna get in trouble for talking to us, so you already in trouble. That's why when I see you in here, I was like, man, don't come in. I didn't want you to come. I'm like, oh, don't come in here. They already know this is what they do. So for a lot of people that don't know what they do, they team up and jump on folks. It's whack, and it's like some high school. It's basically some high school stuff.
I've been canceled.
Yeah, you got canceled, and it's because you pro-black. I'm gonna be honest with you.
College, and I'm not, pursuing my goal. I'm not just a social media star. I'm in college pursuing a career in politics, law and politics. So I'll be fine. I don't need these people.
Yeah, and like I said, as far as I would just tell you to talk to Tim Scott and get it jumping. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you.
My schedule for next summer. I'm still trying to see if it's with Tim Scott, but it was supposed to be with Tim Scott this summer. Hopefully, it's still with him.
Okay. See, I didn't even know nothing about that. I'm trying to, because Tim Scott cutting folks today. Like, he woke up this morning like, oh, I'm tired of y'all. And he cutting today.
I was but my internship got canceled. I was supposed to be working in Tim Scott's office. I work really hard for I'm not just on social media. I'm doing school too, just so people have to understand. I'm not looking for clout. I'm not just a social media. I'm in college. Trying to do something in life.
Yeah,
Wow.
I knew that they was going, and that's why I always, no matter what me and you went through personally, that's why I always supported you, because I seen you stood on being, and pro-black doesn't mean anti-white.
That's
That
not
and
the
that's what and that's what people don't get. You're happy to be black. Now when you look at everybody else, they're not happy to be black. They want to
black.
distance themselves from being black. Like, why do everybody want to distance themselves from being black? Why do everybody want to make sure, the white community is okay? I don't, like, I shouldn't have to put up a post saying it's okay to be white and everybody follow, suit. Like, yeah, it's okay to be white. It's okay for you to be black too, but you can't be black until Joe Biden said something. When Joe Biden said something, now everybody black.
I'm kind of confused because the day before, they was getting me talking about you can't be pro-black and pro-American, but right when Joe Biden was like, you ain't black, and they talking something, I'm black. I'm black, voted for Donald Trump. But some of y'all saying I'm not black, I'm American, or some of y'all saying I'm not pro-black, I'm pro-American, or you don't see color. Okay, I see you.
Jeff.
We got Big Jeff. We got Big Jeff on here. Jeff, what's up, brother?
What's going on? What's going on? Last time I checked, black people were also American too. So you can say you're black and American. You can be pro-black and pro-American at the same time. It actually can work that way.
Correct.
Word.
Correct.
What's going on, Jeff, man? I saw you had some good articles up, man. I shared them on Twitter. But you want to talk about what the subject matter was? The subject matter was.
Yeah, well, my latest one was on this whole push for defunding the police and police reform, and basically it was I made an appearance on RT the other day, talking about whether or not we're actually going to have any type of police reform or defunding the police or whatever, and I'm skeptical about it because I'm skeptical about everything, but a lot of this just feels like posturing for the election. So I told them basically, and I wrote this in the article, is the true test as to whether or not we're going to start seeing some changes right now is going to come after November. We don't know that for sure right now because a lot of politicians are making a lot of noise, and honestly, I don't believe them yet. So I mean, that's where I am, and it's really, what's really frustrating to me about this is that it's the people on the left that are saying, oh, here's a solution. We'll defund the police, or we'll do this or that with the police. And the right is saying nothing. So the left is offering a solution, one that I don't even know if I really agree with yet, because I'd have to look at it closer. But what's the right offering in order to solve this problem? I mean, and maybe you guys have seen something that I haven't, but I haven't seen any Republicans coming out saying, no, this is the right solution to deal with police brutality. That's what's bothering me right now. It's the same thing.
They don't have any. And I'm against. Like I said, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. This might not be the popular thing to say, but I've been on the other side as far as I've been a revolutionary. I've been an activist. I've been inside the courts. I've been outside the courts. I've been in city council. I done all of it. If they defund the police departments or just the law enforcement in general, they're gonna make up that money. That department is going to make up that money. And how do you think they're going to make up the funding that's lost? Let's take it on that level.
Yeah.
So black people actually, encouraging defunding the police, it might be our demise because the police are going to profit off of locking us up by any means.
Exactly.
In any way. So it's kind of like now we can talk about, the police department and the union, the police union. Get rid of the police union. I'm all with that.
Right. Exactly.
So the police union, get rid of it because that's what protects and that's what gives this authority to the police where they feel that they're above the law. Now, if you defund something, you got to make up that department is going to make up that money somehow. And I don't think we're actually believing that you defund it, they're going to leave us alone. Like if you believe that, You crazy.
Yeah,
So
that ain't gonna happen. You know, and we already have a problem with the police right now, even under the current system. Police in various cities and towns and states or whatever, we already have a problem with them being incentivized to increase their interactions with people. There is a quota, even if it's not an official quota. We already have a problem with there being a quota, so that incentivizes them to increase their interactions with certain people, to lock them up or to find something on them. And then when they do that, where are they going? They're not going to Beverly Hills. They're not going to the Hamptons. They're going to where black people are, because frankly, we tend to not have the money to hire high powered attorneys to fight them. So yeah, that's going to adversely impact black people even more. So when you put the profit motive behind that, and they're being incentivized even more to increase arrests, to increase busts, I mean, that could easily result in a system where our rights are being violated even more frequently. I mean, I'm all for free market solutions with most things, but I'm not convinced that in this aspect that we need to be looking at that, because I'm sorry, I'm not going to be seeing private rights violated just so that you can say that you got the government out of something.
Right. What you think about Sonny's interview with the president?
Oh, that was beautiful. That's actually what I was writing when I was watching you guys while I was writing the article on it. But I did a video on it earlier, but she laid it down. And here's the thing. What I liked about it, and again, I like I said in my video, I can't read her mind, but I suspect that this message that she gave was not really for Trump. Like, I think a lot of that went over his head because he wasn't expecting to hear about all that. But I think that she was speaking to Trump, she was speaking to the Republican Party, and she was speaking to the nation, and she was speaking to the black community when she said what she was saying. And I loved the subjects that she brought up. I loved the way that she put it. And I love the way that she didn't let them skip over her. Because if you notice at first, it seemed like they were going to try to kind of skip over her and go to somebody else. She didn't let that happen. No, not Sonny. No.
Yeah, they did try to skip her. They're like, oh, well, we about to go home. He's like, I'm
I saw that.
And I was like, so
yeah, y'all ain't slick.
I was happy, and for me, being honest and saying I was fucking happy, because I'd never seen anything like that. Like I've never seen anybody go and speak, as far as black, white, it doesn't matter. I've never seen anybody speak to Trump, and it wasn't in a negative way. It was
right.
I got solutions. What you gonna do? And that's basically what it was. I got the solution. We're not gonna do talking points. And that's how she laid it out. And like I said, and that's what people are scared of. That's what they want Candace, because Candace just loves talking about, black people ain't shit. You got somebody that's in the black community that's like, hey, I got the solutions for the black community where we can get rid of these statistics and what percentage of this and what percentage, like, we ready to play ball. Like everybody that's, it's a solid, I've never seen it like this, where you got solid conservatives, black, that's ready to play ball, and the other side, which is other black, I don't consider them conservative. I say the Blexiteers.
Right.
They trying to keep us out of the playing field, because they know we have the solutions. We're about speaking life into, our community. We're about speaking life into, family, everything as such. And they're just about destruction, chaos, and smearing.
Yep.
So, it's.
I'm glad that you said that, because when you were saying that, I was just thinking, you know what? Her getting that platform and getting those 15 minutes to speak to the president, to speak to President Trump, is one of the worst things that could happen to the establishment. So I have no doubt that Black Conservative Inc. is not happy about this. I saw JLP tweet about it actually before the meeting actually happened, and I can tell that it was motivated by fear of what he knew was going to be said there. He basically said, if Trump had people like himself and some like Sheriff Clark and some of the others that won't actually address the issue, then change could be made. Well, no, we've had presidents hearing that from us, from our side, for 60 years, and it's done nothing. So it's time for something new. It's time for somebody like Sonny to have his ear. And like I said, I know that a lot of it went over his head, but I really loved when she tied it to before Trump was president, how he would pose for pictures with with hip hop artists. I mean, all these icons used to make songs about him or mention him in songs. He met with them. He met with Al Sharpton. He still talks to Al Sharpton. I don't care what anybody says. I heard Pastor Daryl Scott say that. So he still
he tweeted that the Al Sharpton called him about 2 months ago.
Yeah, see,
it's a tweet. It's a tweet. You can see the tweet on Al Sharpton's page, or you can get off Trump's page. About 2 months old. So yeah, they still talk.
Yeah, and I just love how she tied it to that, and she didn't try to read his mind. She said, "You can correct me if I'm wrong," but I've heard her say this on her show. You saw something in them. You saw that they were branders, marketers, entrepreneurs, people who wanted to make things grow, and she spoke to something that he can relate to as a businessman. And basically, you called him out and said, "Hey, why don't you challenge the black community to do what you've done? Challenge people in the black community to put their names on buildings and things like that, because that was the stuff that they admired about him before he was president. So why not? Why not?" And that kind of ties into something that Wayne said. The black community needs to hear from you more often. Hear from you, especially since his circuits are doing a shitty job from what I can see. Not all of them, but some of the people who are attached to him, like Candace Owens, Tatum, and some of the rest, they're doing a shitty job. They're not helping him at all. They won't even speak to his message. They say shit that he would never say. Yeah. So he needs to do it directly.
They contradict each other.
Exactly.
With tweets.
Exactly. And I was saying, if Trump manages to increase his black support, it's not going to be because of his surrogates. It's going to be despite them, because it's going to be on his word, because nobody's trying to listen to what they have to say. So I would love to see Trump, even though I'm always afraid that he's going to say some stuff that he shouldn't say, I would rather him do it directly.
Right. Look at this question. She said, do y'all think they'll actually try to build on Sonny's proposition or try to censor her?
She's been censored, I believe, already. So seeing her today is it's a breath of fresh air, because Sonny's been around for a while. They know who she is. So my thing is, I'm gonna be a little bit messy, and I'm gonna say Blex has been doing a shitty job, and then it's obvious. And now all of a sudden you got Sonny at the round table. I think somebody knows something.
Yep.
So I don't think they're gonna censor her right now. I think she was brought in for a reason. And I'm just gonna leave it like that. That's just my hunch.
Right. And I share that same sentiment. I mean, because at the end of the day, Trump knows black people are rebelling against Brexit. I don't care what nobody say. As somebody is in his ear saying, listen, yo, if you don't clear this up right now, bro, you're gonna get destroyed in November. Somebody's in his ear telling him that little bit of black vote that you need in order to push you over, you're going to lose it if you keep messing around with what Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum are doing. Because at the end of the day, they're going to be around after Trump. Trump has one more chance to become the president for 4 years. If he sticks around and keeps, following up Candace and Brexit, he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
Because he needs, and a lot of people don't realize, and I keep telling people, Trump lost the popular vote by almost 3 million votes.
Yep.
He lost by like 3 million. So as much as we could run around and Trump, and all of that, and wave, MAGA wave, and all of that. At the end of the day, he got his ass kicked in the general population exit poll. So just think, he doesn't have this thing locked in. So if he pisses off a lot of voters that he's gonna need because of Candace Owens' statements, and just think, a majority of the people are just totally in disagreement with her. Like the majority of Americans are totally disgusted by the things that. Don't let those little 36,000 likes fool you, because she might got 36,000 likes, but you got 10 million people like, oh my God, it's horrible. Yeah.
So it's I think and a lot of people, they don't focus what they don't focus on it. I know Jeff, me and Jeff's first time. I need to fight Jeff because Jeff been around too damn long for us to have our first discussion. So
I know.
what's going on right now is what I see is Candace Owens is sparking a fire behind local and state elections. So let's say that Trump wins locally and on a state level, she's galvanizing people to stick together and vote against, anybody. If somebody's voting or running as Republican, the people gonna go against that person because they're Republican. So she's doing damage. For anybody that don't know that, she's doing damage. It might not be directly with the president, he might win. But locally, somebody's getting punished because y'all keep pushing this agenda of Blexit, and people are getting punished, believe it or not. And I'm willing to stand on that because I see what's going on. I'm in the streets. I see what's going on. People that I talk to that I've been trying to red pill, they're like, I don't know about the others. And I can't tell them to come to no side because you're not really accepted over here.
I'm glad that you brought that up because, a lot of people get on me like, well, why do you criticize her and why do you criticize Blexit? Shouldn't you be able to unify? I was like, I can unify with people that I disagree with. I can't unite with destruction, though. And the thing is, and Shaka, what you said is spot on because it's not just about Trump. She's hurting the effort at the state and at the local level, especially in the Black community. And what you just said right there about how can you really sell the Republican Party if you're not sure they'll actually be welcome? Well, here's the thing. I've been in sales for over a decade. And I know, and anybody who's listening to this that has been in sales knows, it is nearly impossible to sell a product that you don't believe in. You cannot sell somebody a product that you don't really think is going to help them. You'll get some customers, you'll get some people to say yes, but for the most part, you're going to fail because you don't believe in what you're trying to persuade people to buy. So that's why I am so focused on trying to change the Republican Party and to change minds in the conservative movement, because I want to turn it into a product that I can sell. It'd be really hard for me to go to a Black person, even in the suburbs or wherever, and say, yeah, you need to vote for Republican presidents or whatever. Well, I mean, are they really welcome on the right? I think most Republicans, rank and file, would love to see more Black people come over. But then you keep pushing these people who are there to push them away. So I shouldn't, like, my obstacle to getting Black or anybody else to come over to the conservative movement should be the left. The obstacle should not be people on the right. That's really what I want to fix.
I'm going to throw my dice out and I'm going to give y'all a new title. The Lily Black Movement. That's what I see. The white people ain't even kicking Black folks out. It's the Black people that's Republican kicking Black folks out. The Lily Black Movement. That's what we watching right now.
Yeah, you're right. And it almost seems like they want to be the only Blacks that are in the Republican Party because they
right there.
They want to keep that money flowing. They want to keep the pockets fat. Listen, I don't understand how you can term your movement Blexit and you don't have any sort of appeal towards the Black community. Like no appeal to the Black community, like zero. But you're trying to appeal to Black people, but everything that you do, everything that you say is anti-Black, from the rhetoric down to everything. And it's just kind of confusing, and it makes you question their ulterior, their motives, because you're almost like asking yourself, how could this be? Like I don't understand it. Like right now, Blexit couldn't even. I couldn't go in a Black community right now with a grill and a basketball and set up a barbecue and say this is Blexit barbecuing today in the hood. Mm-hmm. They'll run us out.
Yep. And you know what?
You be over there poking. You know how you got to poke the steak with the fork? Man, we be getting hit from the back and everything, knocked out, sleep on camera. Like man, that's why they don't go. So any of my white folks watching, that's why you don't see Blexit in the community, because they disrespect the community so tough that they can't go in it.
They can't.
Yeah, I mean, your organization that is supposedly designed to reach black people, you can't succeed when your leader says that black culture is a joke. So to me, it's like what? So what's the solution? I mean, because they're not going to stop doing what they're doing. So I'll give what I think might be a good solution, and I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this too. But I think the solution, a lot of it, when it comes to this issue, is to change as many minds on the right as possible, because they're already changing. The conservative movement has been surprising me a lot over the past month. So a lot of minds are being changed, but to continue to change minds, but to continue to repudiate that rhetoric, so that people so that black people who vote Democrat or don't vote at all see people like us talking against it. And because I think that's just as important as changing minds on the right, because I can't tell you how many times I get messages from black Democrats saying, hey, I've never heard a black conservative talk this way. I didn't even know that there were black conservatives who didn't like Blexit or didn't like Owens or didn't like Tatum. So it's a shock to them. Some of them deal with it in a positive way. Others deal with it in a way that you were talking about, Shaka, with the weirdos that come onto my timeline. It jars them because the thing is, they want to put me in that box, right? I mean, they want to put me in the box to where I'm a 100% Trump supporter and I'll go along with Blexit no matter what they say. But when I don't, and I'm not on the left, they don't know what to do with it. So that's what you're seeing with those people who come on my timeline, which they really haven't in a pretty long time. But what it is cognitive dissonance. They don't know how to deal with it. But in general, when people on the left see that, they'll be like, I don't agree with a lot of what you say, or I don't, I'm not sure about some of this conservatism stuff, but I'll rock with you. I'll listen to what you're saying because they know that I like black. They know that I respect the black community. And I've talked to some other black conservatives who've been around for a while who just haven't been in the spotlight, or they have in the past, and they're kind of doing more behind the scenes right now. But they said like one of them even knew Jesse Jackson, has known people on the left, and they get respect from them even though they're on the opposite side of the spectrum, because they know that these people have a heart for the community. They have a heart for Black America. They want to see us do better. And they just think that conservative solutions are the way. That's what we need more of. And we need to sell that more to overshadow what the Blexit folks are doing.
Blexiteers.
Blexiteers, yes.
Yeah. Man, it's important. And I always have people that come on my posts and say, why do you share this, and why do you share what she said and this and that? But they don't understand. See, they're coming from a liberal perspective where it's automatically tuned. They automatically just tune her out regardless. Mm-hmm. But we, as people in the conservative movement, we have to speak out against it, because we have to let it be known that this is not the norm. This is not going to fly. This is something that we're not going to accept. And it's very important that we start doing that. Like the brother said, the second you say Blexit or Candace, when you go in the hood, that's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a done deal. And I don't really know. I never really supported Henry Davis. Like I said, I watched him. But I gotta support him on the video he did in the last week. I gotta give him his respect for that.
I saw that.
And it's messed up that a lot of people left him hanging. A lot of people that supposed to be standing up left him hanging, and now he looks like he's just a total bad guy when everybody else actually agree with what he's saying, but they won't come out verbally and say it. So a lot of people sit back and say, I'm not oppressed. Conservatives are oppressed. You either getting oppressed by Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk and the gang, you getting oppressed. So when they tell you that I'm black and I'm not oppressed, they're lying, because they can't say certain stuff. Why not? They'll get in trouble. So that means you're oppressed. That means somebody white is controlling your narrative, or what you really want to say, or what you don't want to say. You're controlled. So that means you're oppressed. Like, that whole thing is, I'm like, do y'all know, what it means to be oppressed? It doesn't mean that we in shackles. It means you can't say what you want to say.
Yep.
That's a deep point right there. I mean, and that's one of the reasons I'm grateful for Red State, because pretty much they let me just say what I want. Like it was funny because when they first reached out to say, hey, we'd like to bring you on as a contributor, I'm like, you've seen some of the stuff I've been writing, right? Like, what I'm gonna say if you do this, right? And they're like, yeah, fine. Like we want a variety of black voices on our platform. Like they straight up said that. So I'm like, hey, I'm good with that.
That's good. And that's good, man.
Your articles be on point. So,
man,
like I said, I tell people, to reach you, where to reach you at, because I want them to read your. I'll let you plug that.
Oh yeah. I'm at redstate.com. And I also write for libertynation.com as well. So, I mean, you'll see myself on both. A lot of stuff I write, well, especially lately, has been focused more on the Black community, but I write about other stuff too. But yeah, I mean, I definitely have a different perspective. I mean, if you're somebody who's watching this and you're more on the left, or maybe you are conservative, but you vote Democrat, I mean, you're going to see a lot of that in what I write, and you'll be able to resonate with at least some of it. You may not agree with all my views, but I mean, I think all of us would agree that we would be better served if the Democrats didn't get 95% of our vote every time. So, right. I mean, it's funny because in that debate I did with James Hake.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
All right. I'm down.
Woo! Woo! Man.
I said, somebody hit me up. They was like, hey, old boy on Twitter, you see, cause I didn't know you had debated somebody. So my homeboy that I rock with, he was like, "Oh boy, you be talking to him?" I'm like, "Who I talk to on Twitter?" I'm like, he was like, Jeffrey, somebody, and I was like, he had a debate, and they was like, yeah. I was like, where? I'm like, I didn't hear nothing about it. So as soon as I got up and I went to Twitter, and I said, because I said something to you. That's a dagger that I use. I bring out my pocket when it's time to neutralize this whole talking points. As far as the Republicans not being in our district and abandoned, they not ready for that conversation. And that's why I tell you, they give us the clowns, and they don't want to have serious. They don't want to throw they top people at us. They want it in the atmosphere where it's chaotic and nobody has to answer something. That's what they want.
He act like he couldn't hear. He was like, "Huh? Hello? You still on?"
He froze. I think he froze. Yeah. He's like, "Nope, I'm still here."
No, I'm still with you.
So what do you think were some of the highlights of that interview, man? Let's talk about it.
It's funny because when I was in the moment, I just thought I was just having a conversation, a debate, obviously, argument. It was only afterwards that I realized, oh, wow, this is probably bigger than I thought. Like, I wasn't trying to own the guy. Like, that wasn't my goal. And I said this in the video before, my main goal was to be able to see his, where he was coming from, which is the old conservative way of thinking. I call it the old busted joint. And I wanted them to also see the new hotness and see them go at it so that they can choose which one sounds like it makes more sense. So that was really my main goal. I knew I wasn't really going to persuade a lot of people in his audience, although there was a caller on there that did agree with some of the stuff that I said as far as statism goes. But I mean, the main highlight was really just to point out how much the old conservative messaging is lacking. It can't answer questions. And this is what happens when you focus mainly on talking points. And this is on the left too. I mean, because if your knowledge is just talking point deep, then there's an issue there, because you're not going to persuade people, because you're not going to be able to really understand the other side. You're not going to really understand what you're talking about. All you know is how to recite talking points. You know how to read a script. You know how to regurgitate what you've been given. It's like you're an actor. Like an actor reads lines, and that's it. But in the world of politics, and when you're trying to affect change and trying to change minds, you need to come with some more knowledge. You need to actually looked into what you're talking about. This guy, I can tell you, James Hake has probably never done any research, never really dug deep, hasn't read a whole lot of books. I know that sounds like somebody else that we know. He hasn't really.
I read the Constitution.
he probably hasn't even read the Constitution. But he's basically an acolyte of Jesse Lee Peterson, so he gets all of his talking points from him. And there's a reason why people like him don't, or like Jesse Lee Peterson doesn't really do debates, because in debates you have to answer questions. And I knew that the easiest way to see him fall apart was just to ask some questions and to bring up stuff that he hasn't really had to address. They're used to attacking the left. And it's the same thing that happened with the Groypers with Conservative Inc., like with Charlie Kirk and the gang, and then you had Nikki Fuentes, who I can't stand. I can't stand any of the Groypers, but they brought to light something that was very revealing.
King,
because Charlie Kirk didn't know how to answer criticism from the right. He only knows how to go after the left, and even that he probably doesn't know how to do very well unless it's like a college student who doesn't really know their stuff. When it comes to the deeper stuff, they don't do very well, and that's what happened with this guy. And I'm sure I'll do other debates with other people who might be able to debate better. But when you know the facts and when you ask questions that you know that they haven't heard, they're gonna collapse, and that's a problem. It shouldn't be that way.
So, what are some of the talking points that you feel like you had to destroy? What were some of his, for the people who haven't seen it? What were some of his like his talking points you had to debunk?
Yeah, the main one was that because that's what the debate was mainly about. Like, he has a very demeaning view of black people that he probably got from JLP and probably held before he met him. But was that black people don't care about black on black crime, that we don't care when a gang member kills another black person in the hood. He was like, well, why don't you see the demonstrations? And I told him, and here's the thing, here's where he should have been able to say, you know what, you're right. I said, the reason you don't know is because the media doesn't want you to know. They're not going to, if a black person gets killed down the street by another black person and a bunch of people come out into the streets to protest that, you're never going to hear about it. You have to go dig for it, and it might be reported at the local level, and that's it. But the problem is that on a national level, they're not going to tell you. The left-wing media won't tell you, and the right-wing media won't tell you. They both have an agenda. The left doesn't want you to see black people rising up to do something to repair their own communities without the government. The right doesn't want you to see this happening because they want you to think that black people don't care. So you can't just listen to the national corporate press. So that was one of the main things. I wanted to debunk that lie, which I did, probably not to his satisfaction, because really he believes the stuff because he wants to believe it. Right. So that was one of the main highlights. The other highlight is, well, why do the blacks always vote Democrat? They just vote Democrat because they're brainwashed, or because they don't have fathers in the home, or because of whatever. No, right. There are a lot of different reasons, and one of the main ones is the fact that the Republican Party does not go for the votes. So those two things, because really all of what I say and all of what I talk about, it all comes back to one thing. The Republican Party needs to give an alternative. They need to come into the community and actually challenge the status that are over the black communities. So that's why I try to debunk a lot of these things, because I want people on the right to understand the black community better. Now, he wasn't interested in understanding, but that debate can show others, well, wait a minute, there's more to it than what these people are saying.
It's a blueprint, and like I said, you laid out a hell of a blueprint, and I'm gonna give it to you. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Somebody has to put the blueprint down. And right. When I did the debate with Bryson the first time, it wasn't about me and Bryson, it was about Blexit. So I laid the blueprint down on how to destroy Blexit, and they're not in the black community. And that was that's basically what it, that's basically what they exposed. They don't care about black folks. They're not in the black community. It's the blueprint. So, like I said, you laid a blueprint of, we are in our communities, and the Republicans are not in our communities. It's been over 60 years. So blueprint.
Yep.
You know what? Let me look at this talking point here, because I hear it, I understand it, but it's deeper than what people say. So he said Biden literally wrote the law that caused the mass incarceration of black Americans, signing the law by President Bill Clinton. That's only half the story. Remember, the war on drugs had preceded Biden. Biden had the mentality of a lot of those old school, hardcore, white, moderate Democrats or Republicans. He possessed that mind frame. So remember, there was no that progressive thought you see now today of legalizing drugs and all of that. That didn't exist. If y'all remember, we're all three of us right now are old enough to remember that if somebody said something that even gave the inclination that they were weak on crime, they would automatically, he's not tough on crime.
He's soft on crime.
Yeah, that was one of the most used talking points in the 80s and the early 90s. And into the late 90s. soft on crime. That one phrase right there could cause you the election. He's soft on crime. And I know y'all remember this. We all probably around the same age. And what they did back then is they had to have that, like Joe Biden in one of the clips I saw, and I think it was on the Trump commercial. He said the only thing this bill lacked is somebody being lynched for jaywalking. I was like,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
He said the only thing this bill lacks is somebody getting lynched for jaywalking. I said, "Ooh, shit."
So that's why I always tell people I don't play politics with my race. And the reason why is, like I said, Eisenhower was the first person to put the war on drugs, and then it was Nixon, and then I think it was Nixon, then Reagan. Then Bush, and and then the Clintons and Joe Biden put the stake in everything. So it's like it was when people were like, oh yeah, the Democrats, they did this and Republicans really broke up our homes first, and then they abandoned us. So they fucked up our homes first, got us addicted on a lot of heroin came out, things and such like that, and then they disappeared. That's what happened, and then you had the Clintons come in with Biden and put the stake in the back, and that's where we at. But nobody talks about how we got to the position of mass incarceration. They skipped that part, and they only want to go to mass incarceration. And I don't let them. I don't even allow it. Like, we're gonna have a truthful dialogue, or we're not. Because I'm not gonna play politics when it comes to race or the destruction of the black community. I'm not gonna do it. So that's another thing that need to be highlighted was Republicans actually did tear down the black family first, and then they disappeared from the community. Because a lot of people forget that a lot of black people were Republican, during that era. As far as 60s and stuff like that, we were they were voting Republican. So I'm done with that, but don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, because with the whole Biden thing, and I get why people bring it up, and and the only reason I'll bring it up is just to show that it wasn't just the Republicans that were doing this tough on crime stuff. So I acknowledge that the Republicans started this off and continued it, but the Democrats were right there with them.
Yep.
And and it's funny because I was thinking about this today. Like, people on the right will always point out what the Democrats did to the black community, and they're right. They're factually right. So, they did redlining, Jim Crow, and then later on, with the crime bill and stuff like that. And so my question is, if the Democrats were doing this, then where were the Republicans? Why did they just let them do that? So what does that say about the Republican Party, that they saw that this was happening and they did nothing about it? Well, did they agree with it? Maybe they did. But they didn't. But or did they care? Maybe they did, but they didn't care enough to actually try to do something about it. Fast forward to now, they bring up Chicago. Well, look at all this Democratic governments in Chicago and Baltimore, and all the crime and yada yada yada. Okay, so what does it say about the GOP that they're willing to look at that, see it happening, and not try to do something about it? That's what gets me. They don't want to give any solutions. They don't want to say, I wouldn't care. They can bring up Chicago all they want if they would put a solution with it. Exactly. If the punditry class wants to talk about Chicago, fine. But don't just say, oh, yeah, but look at all the homicides in Chicago. I would respect you more if you said, hey, look at all the homicide in Chicago. Hey, why isn't the GOP trying to get in there to overthrow the Democrats to do something about this?
Right.
It's ridiculous.
I agree.
And I tell them, this is why black people don't believe you, because they know you don't give a shit. They know you're only talking about Chicago to distract from a police officer murdering a black man, or to distract from what happened to Ahmaud Arbery or whatever. They don't care. So
I'm glad you said that part. All this George Floyd, I'm glad you said that shit, because I wanted to talk about it before you got on, and then you came on, and then it was like, oh shit, Jeff is here. They only talking about that George Floyd shit because what they did with the Arbery case, where they bashed Arbery and start saying, wait till the facts come out, and have nothing to do with that. They never addressed the facts that came out in the last couple of weeks. So they're running from that, as far as retracting their story, and retracting their stance. And now it's like it's a full out attack on George Floyd, so everybody else forget that y'all showed your ass about the Arbery case.
Right.
That's what I've been noticing.
Right. I'm gonna see if ABL will jump on. I know he ain't. See, and that's my problem. That's my problem with dudes like ABL. I just sent them the stream, so because he responded on the other post while I called him out. But you know, these guys, man, I'm just sick and tired of them parroting the alt-right agenda. Like, we're gonna have to call them out. And like I said, like you said, they never backtrack on Ahmaud Arbery. You know, they put, between ABL and Brandon and Candace, they say he grabbed a man's gun, and now evidence came out that they tried to hit him. They tried to hit him with the truck, right?
They did hit him. They did hit him with the truck.
So he already knew what time it was. That's why when he circled back around and saw him, he had to defend himself. They already tried to get him. So he was like, yo, this is my last ditch effort for me to, save my life. They kept saying, oh, well, it had nothing to do with race. Now evidence come out. They stood over him after he killed him. The N-word, called him a race. So, they never came back and clarified it and said, you know what, we acted too fast. I'm sorry. Never.
You double down with Floyd. That's what they did. They said, let's double down. It's like, and that's what they did. Even with the sister that was killed, with the no knock, they went. He put it. That came. More facts came out of that. You think he said something? No.
Nope.
So only thing they can do is bash. Floyd about his criminal record, which. I'm saying this and I got to go because I was only supposed to be on this motherfucker for 20 minutes.
I think we all about to go, man.
But I got to get going too.
So with the case, as far as the Floyd case, so the media, this is what a lot of people are not paying attention to. So the media has always bashed blacks on their criminal record from forever. So the media didn't do it this time. The media didn't paint the victim as as far as the aggressor and as the criminal. It was the alt blackface right that did it. And that's why don't we know, I asked the person, why don't you know what names the other cops are that got arrested? They don't know the names.
Yeah.
Why don't you why haven't you looked into how many altercations and how many, disciplinary acts that this cop why this is not on the video? That he was in fatal shootings and he was aggressive and beating on people that he arrested. Like why aren't we talking about this? If we're gonna talk about a criminal record, let's talk about the employment record, the job record, how you proceed as a cop, how you conduct yourself. They'll never talk about it because they can't. If they bring up that cop's record, the back the blue people are gonna get them. So that goes back to the oppression that they talk about that doesn't exist supposedly. I'm done.
Well, and and I'll say this because in this isn't it might be oppression, Shaka. Like maybe they want to say this stuff and they can't. I'm a little bit more skeptical on it because I think that this is just what they want to do, and it's it's the same playbook that they've been using for decades. Like I've been a conservative for like 15 years and I've seen this play out so many different times. The objective, the thing is they couldn't say that the officer was justified. They couldn't justify the killing. So they didn't even try in this instance, which I was kind of shocked by, but they didn't try. So usually the first step is they try to justify it. If that doesn't work, then they go to the criminal record to try to dehumanize the victim. And what they are trying to do is they want to dehumanize George Floyd. And they're doing, and they're very clever. I talked about this in a video that I did a few days ago. They're very clever in how they frame it. Like when Candace did that video, she knows what she's doing. She was very clever in how she framed it. She said that she was making the video to counter the leftist narrative, and that's how they'll always cover themselves. They'll say, "Oh, well, I'm just trying to counteract the false narrative that the left is doing." Now, we both know that the left always has a false narrative. They're always lying. So yes, that is true. But she framed it as, oh, they're trying to make him sound like the Messiah, or they're trying to turn him into a hero.
Yep.
They're trying to make him into a martyr. And every time somebody has said that to me on Twitter, I've asked, okay, so who's doing that? Who's calling him a martyr? Who's calling him a hero? You've got a very few people who are being stupid about this. Like I saw somebody had a picture of him with Malcolm X and MLK. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's overboard. But the majority of people on the left, center, and right,
intentional. I think they did that intentionally.
Yeah,
as far as
they could, yeah. I mean, and so, but for the most part, you got
Jesse Lee probably did that.
Yeah, he could probably paint. Yeah, no, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, you got people on the left, center, and right who are just saying, this guy was a victim of statist violence. He shouldn't have died. I mean, and he had a past. He was trying to get it together. People have lapses or whatever, but his past is not relevant to this. So, but Candace Owens lied to her audience and said that, oh, everybody on the left is trying to make him sound like he was Jesus. And so that's how she justified making that video. But she knows that that's not the case. She knows that nobody's actually doing that. She just knows that her audience will buy it because they want to buy it.
Boom.
So here's
no, go ahead. No, I'm just saying that was a brilliant move by her. She created a narrative out of thin air that nobody was talking about. She created it out of thin air and attributed to the left because she knew because I said the same thing. And Shaka, you probably said the same thing. I said a martyr. He was like, who said that? Like, when did that?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's saying that. Yeah. And so she basically said, okay, so now she's cleared herself to make this video bashing George Floyd. But the overall objective, since they couldn't defend what the officer did, they have to dehumanize George Floyd. They have to make us see him as less than human so that what happened to him doesn't matter that much. They can distract from the statist violence that happened. If George Floyd had shot a kid right before that happened, the officer still would have been wrong according to the law, but would any of us really care? No, he just killed a kid because he was a monster. But that didn't happen. So that's why she's focusing on his drug use, and she's focusing on what he did 13 years ago. And those things were horrible, and those things were wrong. As far as what he did with the woman.
I want to say this. I'm not a religious person, but I deal with, like I said, in my community, I still deal with people that's addicted, and they're still Christian. They still go to church. They still trying to change it, but they're fighting a demon. They're fighting the demon of addiction, and it's like, how do you demonize this person that, he wasn't trying to get his life to? I know people trying to get their life together right now that will cry and be like, come pick me up. I'm high. I just want to get away. Like, they fight with that. So
yes. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's a process. You don't just say, I want to be a good person, so I'm not going to do this anymore, and then you just stop doing it. No, you wrestle with that shit. Like, I've known people, I've had relatives, I've had friends that have struggled with addiction. So part of the process is fighting that monster. And so she basically wants to make it sound like, since he was fighting that monster, he was a bad person. She wants us to judge him. And again, like I was saying, what I was getting to, the ultimate objective is to dehumanize him, so that we don't care about what happened to him. So that we don't care that the state murdered a man in broad daylight and wasn't arrested until later. So this is what the statist does. This is what the Marxist does. And yes, people on the right, there are people on the right who are Marxists. And what she did was a very Marxist and statist thing to do. And it's obvious to people like you and I, but to the rest of the movement, they're not really seeing that because they're not thinking as deeply. I mean, people have jobs or whatever, but she knows that she can manipulate that by basically telling him that he wasn't a good person. So yeah, he didn't deserve to die, because they will say that he didn't deserve to die, but who cares? That's basically what they want to get to.
Man, that's crazy. You know what, man? George Floyd gal, man. George Floyd, either his girlfriend, sister, or somebody, man, they're gonna slap her ass when they see her.
Somebody, I'm gonna be quiet, but yeah, somebody.
Man, listen, man. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, cause see, you messing with people that street now, bro. You slandering my dead uncle or my dead aunt, bro. Right. That's like now you done crossed.
And it's a code. It's a code. Respect the dead. We gotta respect the like.
Oh man,
It's the
yeah,
code in
man.
the street. Respect the dead. Like Jeff, my brother, something happened to me, and somebody just talking. Jeff got to go see him, even if he got to go to Subway to see this motherfucking Starbucks, wherever you got to go. You slap him. Like that's part, and it's just a respectable thing. Like if I was running Blexit, I would have called the family, got with the family.
Yeah,
right. Yes, right there. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Like, yo, man, we hate to see that happen, man. It's unfortunate, and we just want to send y'all our condolences. Boom. That's outreach in the Black community, but obviously, man, yeah. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all brothers from coming on, man. It was wonderful. I sent Anthony Brian Logan the stream. He didn't come on. So I'm gonna catch him one day. ABL, you not gonna keep running. You're not gonna keep running, ABL. ABL has been running from me, man. All of that. So I'm gonna see him, man. He has been grifting so hard lately, man. And I mean, oh my God. I mean, like I said, man, I disagree with some of y'all brothers because it's no way these brothers believe what the hell they saying, man.
Hold on. You still owe me lunch. We made a bet. You owe me lunch. I'm coming down there too this summer.
Yeah. Word.
So even if we gotta eat at the center, you gonna make me a sandwich. Like it's gonna be a piece of bread or something. Yeah. So I'm coming down to the center.
Yes, bro. I just can't believe that. I just don't believe that they believe this stuff. I think, in my mind, they are playing a mind. I know Candace is playing a mind game. She was just an advocate for Black people about a week ago.
About a week ago.
And then now all of a sudden you just no, man. You don't lose your sense of pride in you don't lose it that fast. You don't.
I'm gonna tell you what they're doing. They said, hey, this is my chance. You remember when you have rappers that's aspiring to be, out there. They don't want to go to work. Nobody want to go to work. I don't want to go to work. Y'all want to go to work? Yeah. No.
Nope.
This is their way out of doing manual labor. We're fucking up their outing. This is why they don't like us. We're messing. Even if they be like, oh, I got a job. Well, you're trying to get to a status where you don't have a job and you can do whatever you're doing right now on a constant basis to support you. That's what they're trying to do. They're auditioning.
Yeah. And, there's truth to that because that's exactly what I want. I'm just not willing to I'm just not willing to shit on Black people to do it. So
no, hell no.
Yeah,
man.
I can't do it. Knowing history, I cannot. I don't care how big the check is. Ed McMahon can knock at my door with the paper check, and I'm be like, "Go on, Ed. You can go on, man. I'm done."
Man, and it's sad, bro. It's almost sad thinking about it, man. Like how do you sleep at night? Just like, man, how do you ABL? How do you Anthony Brian Logan? How do you sleep at night? How, brother? How? Patrick Hampton? How do you sleep at night? How do y'all brothers sleep at night, man? Knowing that y'all. And then this is the thing, and I'm gonna let y'all go. If they say something negative about Black people, they get like 800-900 likes. And like out of the 800-900 likes, 799 are white.
When you look at their other posts that don't get as many, they get more likes bashing Black people than they do just having a regular post.
Yeah.
Yep.
They don't see that, bro. How don't y'all see that? You right, Shaka, man. Them boy could put up a post, why don't we fight? What about Black on Black crime? 3,000 likes. 3,000.
Yep.
And they just put up a regular post, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? They might get 2 likes.
Right. That shit. I respect y'all too, brothers. I respect y'all. Like I said, Jeff, we definitely got to build more. Shaquem, you already know what the goal is. We're gonna you know, we're gonna keep stomping on their necks because we can't be meek when it comes to what's going on. You have, you know, when we say we had a goal, our goal is just to be respectable in the Black community and talk politics that actually benefit, you know.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's all the fuck we want. We don't want anything else. Like, let's, you know, and they're never going to sit down at the table. Like you said, I put out the olive branch to try to work with them. They didn't want it. And I was, you know, like I said, paying for a ticket, paying for a hotel. I'll pay for a ticket and a hotel for you to come out here and do work that will actually help Blexit. But you don't want to do it because Blexit, I don't think they can go do it. I don't think they might, you know, it might be in the contract.
Hey man, they got a no-fly zone on Blexit probably in 100 cities across America.
Well, like I said, black voices for Trump. I can't say they're different than Blexit for right now. You know, and this is not an endorsement or anything like that, but I do see them more active as far as, you know, being in the Black, even if it's a barbershop. I see them, you know, talking in barbershop. I see them having this dialogue. So I respect that part, but it's not an endorsement.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an endorsement, but I see Black voices for Trump actually, they're the everyday Black person. They're not out here with that rhetoric yet. Hopefully they never do.
Hey, and you know one person that surprised me, and I'm gonna say this, and I know we gotta go, but there's two people that surprised me because they never jumped on that train that Candace and Jesse Lee and them are on, Diamond and Silk. As much as you notice they ain't never jumped, they didn't never play that game with them. Now, if you notice, them sisters, they stayed out of that.
Yeah, they spoke against it. They've been speaking against it in the last couple of months.
They have been. Yep. Yeah, and that's why I don't really complain about them that much. Like, they've got their shtick, but they're not pretending to be anything they're not pretending to be something that they're not. And they're not, and you're right, they're not getting on that bandwagon. When Arbery happened, they were right there saying, we want justice for Arbery. Same with Breonna Taylor, same with George Floyd. So I can respect that with them. I may not, you know, like the whole shit. And you know what? Terrence Williams too. Same thing.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
He wishy-washy.
He is wishy-washy, but he did come down on the right side when it came to Arbery and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm negative a lot, but I will give them props for that. Like, I can't take that away from them.
Nah, you can't take it, but it's like, I think they get that phone call and they be like, I'm sorry, I was just in my emotions.
Maybe.
Where did Kingface land on? He must have blocked me or something. Where did he land on this last issue? Where did Kingface land?
I don't know. I didn't even see.
I don't follow that clown. You know,
I think he just does whatever Candace does. I mean, basically, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, you know, like I said, he's smart, meaning he don't engage in nothing as far as dialogue with other people because, you know, he'll get exposed. He's smart. He don't even engage. He won't even engage. Like, he won't. Nope, I don't see it. I'm Stevie Wonder. He turned to Stevie Wonder. He's smart on that. He don't even, you know. So you got to give credit with that. He's smart. He said, "You're not gonna mess with my money."
Yeah. All right, y'all, man. I appreciate it, man. It's been real. Love y'all, brothers, man. We will build tomorrow.
Peace, man.
All right, peace.